I believe we, and particularly you, your class, has an incredible window of opportunity to lead in shaping a new world order for the 21st century in a way consistent with American interest and the common interest. Think of the possibilities. For the first time in history, the Western Hemisphere is in a position where it has the possibility of being middle class, democratic, and secure from Canada to Chile. The Pacific Basin, peaceful and prosperous. A new relationship with China where we cooperate and compete, but where conflict is not inevitable. A revitalized global trading order defined by greater integration and economic growth, where barriers are lowered at the borders and behind our borders, generating millions of American jobs, where intellectual property is protected and the playing field is level, and where major powers come together to deal with the challenges of our time that require us all to act in concert. And there are many challenges, including violent extremism that is becoming more diffuse, countries emerging from chaos in the midst of war, challenges to the international order on the high seas and in the skies, emerging threats in cyberspace, and for the first time in world history, the use of corruption and oligarchs as a sinister tool in the conduct of foreign policy. The President and I believe that all these challenges require the United States to stay engaged in the world, to lead, and to be a force for positive change. Because one thing we know for certain, if America is not on the field, the vacuum will be filled by anti-democratic forces that will attempt to shape a future around their selfish interest to the detriment of America and the world. But it's not enough to be engaged. It's necessary to have the wisdom and the humility to distinguish between those challenges that warrant us acting alone and decisively, and those challenges that require building coalitions and marshaling common action. And it will not be easy. It will take patience and persistence. But it's within our grasp. It can be done. It has been done before. America has done it before. In a moment of equally great change, the generation that launched this academy 60 years ago did it. At the end of the Second World War, Europe and Asia were in ruins. America faced not only daunting challenges, but immense opportunities. But a nation tired of war and wanting to come home. There was an overwhelming desire in your grandparents' and my parents' generation to bring home every single one of the 12 million forces that remain stationed in Europe and Asia. But the leaders of that day, they knew, that generation knew that America had to stay engaged. They knew that they had to lay the foundation for a new world order, a world order that brought the longest period of sustained peace in Europe and Asia and generated the most significant economic growth in the history of mankind. They helped write the constitutions of Germany and Japan that led to democratic governments and guaranteed that neither nation would ever possess a nuclear weapon. They formed the most significant military alliance in the history of the world, NATO, out of the ashes of war. They put forth the Truman Doctrine that stopped Soviet expansion. And in the midst of all the sacrifice Americans had made, they supported a Marshall Plan, a sustained multi-billion-dollar commitment to put Europe back on its feet in order to avoid a repeat of the chaos that followed World War I and led to World War II, generating economic stability that allowed democratic institutions to flourish throughout Europe. So that we can now say we're on the verge of a Europe that is whole and free and secure. So the challenges they faced were no less than we face. But they did it, and so can we.